We move on to react to De Ligt being subbed at halftime as Netherlands drew. My bad for the incorrect grammar there. I put draw with Germany. Netherlands drew with Germany 2-2. I'm trying to pull up the statistics in this game. So before we get to the De Ligt issue, in which it's a pretty interesting thing, this was a very exciting, fascinating game. I have to say, hugely exciting game. First of all, Germany, they conceded a goal. Only a minute 40 seconds into the game, but they fought their way back to get it to 2. This game was played in the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. Dennis Undav, he was the one, he scored on his first ever start for Germany. Joshua Kimmich was able to get the second, that led to a 2-1 halftime lead. After the Netherlands scored that early goal through Reinders, but eventually Netherlands were able to equalize through Dumfries early in that second half, with which good, very general play, some quick moving of the ball, and it was really, really good football we saw. This leaves both of the teams, with Germany and Netherlands, both with 4 points, with Bosnia-Herzegovina and Hungary both with 1 point below Germany and the Netherlands. Germany are actually top of a group based on goal differential. Germany had that big win over Hungary, being able to defeat them 5-0. Overall dominant performance them there, so they have it. Netherlands actually also had a big win against Bosnia in their opener, 5-2, but it wasn't enough to. Well, I say it wasn't enough, but honestly, we're only 2 games in, so it's not like the standings are final. But Germany got a bigger win, and I have to say, Netherlands, they had the opportunities to make it 2-3-0, so they got off to that amazing start where Ryan Gravenberg, who's playing the football of his career recently. Seems like Arne Slot has not revitalized him, but sort of revived him, playing a sort of new role at Liverpool, playing a little bit more deeper in midfield, playing really, really good, playing like a player that's played that position his entire life, and he played an extremely perfect ball that led Reinders away to get that opening goal, being able to tuck it in past Ter Stegen, who, by the way, side note, is finally getting his chance to be the goalkeeper number 1 for Germany, being 32 years old, with Manuel Neuer retiring. But yes, so they were able to get up to that early opening lead, and then the Netherlands actually had 2 absolute clear-cut opportunities to get the lead. Dumfries headed a free kick wide. Xavi Simons hit a cross in from a free kick position. Dumfries headed it wide, and then 5 minutes later, Xavi Simons had a one-on-one opportunity after another really good pass from Gravenberg, but that went straight at Ter Stegen. The Netherlands continued to play some really, really good football to create a lot of opportunities, but Germany was able to control general possession, and they also moved the ball around quickly. Again, I thought both teams played excellent football. Both teams played some good football. Both teams had their moments, and 2-2 was deserving, and it was a really, really good game. And Germany had the Dutch on their back foot after the early start. Jamal Musiala took advantage of a mistake from Matthijs de Ligt, which we'll get to later. It was a bad pass from de Ligt. Musiala intercepts it, and he's able to set up Undev on his first Germany start to get the equalizing goal in the 38th minute. And that was an equalizer. Nathan Ake had a hamstring injury, and he had to get carried off with a stretcher on the verge of halftime. Then at halftime, de Ligt was hooked by Ronald Koeman after that mistake. We'll get to that later. Robert Andrijk played a really good ball to David Raum, who was able to find Kimmich, who had an easy tap in on the back post. And that made it 2-1 on the verge of halftime. Then de Ligt was yanked at halftime. That goal came before. De Ligt was yanked at halftime. Then Brian Brobby for the Netherlands showed some good composure, some good strength, some good pace as well. To see him hold off defenders, and then he was able to get it to Dumfries, who made it 2-2 quickly after the second half began, only 6 minutes into the second half. And then Germany created a lot of opportunities, really good opportunities. Kai Havertz missed a really good chance. Undev was just unable to chip Verbruggen, Dutch goalkeeper Verbruggen, and then Raum had an opportunity, a header that he just missed. But yeah, apart from that, it was pretty even after that. Germany did have a penalty appeal late, but it wasn't given. VAR didn't intervene, and Nagelsmann was not happy about that. Virgil van Dijk, when speaking about the game afterwards, he said, "At times it was very good. We created chances. The guys who came on showed themselves well. This is what we want. That gives positivity." Now we go to Matthijs de Ligt, who's been under fire from the Dutch media over this international window, because this is not the only mistake actually he made. He made a mistake as well in the Bosnia game, and which led to a Dzeko goal. And yes, Dzeko is still playing at the top level for Bosnia, age 38. He's currently, if you've not been tracking him, he's at Fenerbahce. But yes, de Ligt, he's been under huge criticism. The pressure on him is mounting. And yeah, he got subbed off at halftime. And, when Ronald Koeman was speaking about this decision, there was, we'll pull up the quote exactly, but it was very straightforward and, very blunt. Which is sort of what the more and more I'm understanding, this is sort of the Dutch culture. When Koeman was speaking about the media, he said, "Of course, I would rather have kept Matthijs de Ligt on the pitch. It just looks like he is now in a period where all of his mistakes are being punished. I gave him a new chance today, but eventually protected him by taking him off." Van Dijk, when he was speaking about him, he said, "This is football. You have to learn from this. It was one moment at the highest level. You will get punished for it." Obviously, De Ligt will return to Manchester United, which is a big part of what United are trying to do this season, especially with the depth issues that they have at the center half positions, specifically with Lenny Yoro getting injured. But this is not the greatest way to go back to Manchester United in the form that he has been, especially these past 2 games. Look, a lot of people were jumping on what Ronald Koeman said, but I didn't think it was as negative as what some people are trying to make it out to be. I think when he says it just looks like in this period where all his mistakes are being punished, he's sort of saying he's unlucky. From what I hear, how I interpret it, he's saying he's kind of going through an unlucky period because there are times where some mistakes happen, but you just don't end up getting punished with the goal. He's basically saying anytime he does make a mistake, he's just getting unlucky because it's always leading to a goal, and he's saying he's protecting him by taking him off, which I don't know if that's really protecting him. That's almost makes it worse into some people's eyes. But obviously to Ronald Koeman's eyes is not. But I'm not really critical of this. He came out with comments after now Memphis Depay, who's moved to Corinthians. He came out with comments saying, he's saying, basically not wanting to open his mouth, saying because of some of the criticism that came over how blunt he was over the Bergwijn situation, and saying he doesn't want to, it's best if I don't, open up. But I don't think this is really as that, especially when you compare it to some of the things we hear in the Dutch media. We go back when it was Virgil van Dijk. He got called out by 2 Dutch legends, Ruud Gullit and Marco van Basten. Yes, Marco van Basten. And they were really personal, in my opinion, and some vicious attacks and very harsh attacks, in my opinion, at Van Dijk, who I don't know how you can criticize a player of his caliber and a player of his importance to Netherlands, and there was some massive criticism there, and it's kind of the Dutch footballing culture to be blunt and to be straight up, which I don't mind. But I don't think these what Koeman said, I don't think is as big of a deal as what people are making out to be. A lot of people are saying this is just rough and it's almost unfair, but for me it's not that big of a deal. Really not that big of a deal. But yes, overall it was a fascinating game, and yeah, we'll see how De Ligt looks going forward.